Do you often feel tired or have unexplained body aches? Ever wondered why? Well, today we're going to talk about a silent yet potent villain that could be causing these issues: chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, in simple terms, is your body's prolonged response to harmful toxins that we consume daily. You can think of it as your body's stubborn, overprotective friend who overstays their welcome. When it's just a quick visit, this friend or inflammation can actually be quite beneficial, helping your body heal from injuries or infections. But when this friend decides to move in and stick around for the long haul, that's when problems start to arise. In this video, we'll delve into what triggers inflammation in your body, the symptoms it can cause, and how you can test for it. We're also going to explore some ways you can help manage chronic inflammation through diet, natural remedies, and supplements. Now, you may be wondering, why is this relevant to me? Well, chronic inflammation is more common than you might think, and it's not just linked to aches and pains. It can contribute to a number of serious health conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and even certain types of cancer. So, understanding chronic inflammation and how to manage it can be a vital step in maintaining your overall health. But don't worry, we're not here to scare you. We're here to inform and guide you. We'll break down this complex topic into bite-sized pieces, making it easy to understand and digest. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and prepare to embark on an enlightening journey. We're going to uncover the mystery behind those unexplained aches and pains. And who knows, by the end of this video, we might just turn you into a chronic inflammation guru, ready to dive into the world of chronic inflammation. Let's get started. Imagine a silent alarm constantly going off in your body. That's chronic inflammation for you. Chronic inflammation, a term you might have come across in your last health magazine or during a late-night web surf. But what is it really? Picture this. Your body is a fortress, and inflammation is its knight in shining armor. When a foreign invader, like a pathogen or an irritant, breaches the fortress walls, inflammation is the body's natural response to protect and heal itself. But what happens when the knight refuses to sheathe his sword, even after the battle is over? That's when he becomes the invisible enemy, and we call this chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation isn't a sudden, sharp pain or a fever that alerts you to its presence. It's more like a shadowy figure, always lurking, always damaging, but rarely seen. It's not a flamethrower, but a candle that never goes out, and the damage it inflicts can be just as severe. Over time, this constant state of alert can start to damage healthy cells, tissues, and organs. It's like having a tiny, persistent fire burning within, slowly causing harm. Why is it harmful, you ask? Well, imagine that knight in your fortress swinging his sword around indiscriminately. He's not just fighting the invaders now, he's damaging the fortress itself. In the same way, chronic inflammation can lead to a host of health issues if left unchecked, from heart disease and stroke to diabetes and even cancer. And here's the kicker: chronic inflammation often has no visible symptoms. It's like a stealthy ninja, silently wreaking havoc while you're none the wiser. That's why it's essential to understand what it is, how it works, and the potential harm it can cause. Now that we know what chronic inflammation is, what triggers it? Chronic inflammation doesn't just happen. It has triggers, and some might surprise you. Now, imagine your body as a castle. It's fortified, majestic, and designed to defend against invaders. But sometimes the castle's very own defenses can turn against it. That's what happens with chronic inflammation. The body's defense mechanism goes into overdrive, and instead of protecting the body, it starts to harm it. So what triggers this? Well, the culprits are often hiding in plain sight. First on our list is diet. Yes, those cheeseburgers and donuts aren't just expanding your waistline. They're also firing up inflammation. Foods high in sugar, saturated fats, and trans fats can all spark an inflammatory response. Next up is stress. Our lives are filled with deadlines, traffic jams, and endless emails. This chronic stress can send our body's inflammation response into overdrive. It's like the body's alarm system is stuck on siren mode and it can't switch off. Then we have lack of sleep. When we skimp on sleep, our bodies miss out on vital repair and recovery time. This can lead to an increase in inflammation. Think of sleep like the night shift at the castle, repairing any damage from the day's battles. Lastly, we cannot ignore environmental toxins. They're everywhere. In the air we breathe, the water we drink, even the furniture we sit on. These toxins can trigger inflammation, like a castle under siege from all sides. But here's the thing, these triggers are not a life sentence. They're more like a wake-up call, a signal that it's time to make some changes. It's about swapping out those cheeseburgers for salads, finding ways to manage stress, getting a good night's sleep, and reducing our exposure to toxins. Identifying these triggers is half the battle, but how do we know if we're inflamed? Chronic inflammation is sneaky, but it leaves clues. You might not see it, but it's there, like an unwelcome guest at a party, spiking the punch when you're not looking. So how do we spot this party crasher? Well, chronic inflammation often manifests as persistent aches and pains, ongoing fatigue, or even unexplained weight gain. It's like that annoying relative who overstays their welcome at the family reunion, and you just can't seem to shake them off. Another signal to watch for is persistent digestive issues. If your gut is repeatedly upset, it may not just be that spicy taco you had for lunch. Inflammation could be the uninvited guest causing the ruckus. And let's not forget skin issues like eczema or psoriasis or even frequent infections. These are like the smoke signals your body sends up, signaling that there's a fire of inflammation burning within. Now you're probably thinking, that's all well and good, but how do we nail this down? How do we catch this elusive culprit red-handed? Well, there's a test for that. Several, in fact. Blood tests can measure inflammation markers such as C-reactive protein, or CRP, and erythrocyte sedimentation rate, ESR. It's like installing security cameras at the party to catch the unwelcome guest in action. There's also the option of using imaging tests like X-rays or MRIs to spot inflammation in specific parts of the body. These tests are like having a bouncer at the door, ready to spot any troublemakers. Remember, these tests should be done under the guidance of a healthcare professional. They're the seasoned party planners, and they'll know exactly how to handle this unwelcome guest. Now, it's important to note that these symptoms and tests don't definitively diagnose chronic inflammation. They're more like clues in a mystery novel, pointing you in the right direction. But they're a start. Armed with this knowledge, what can we do about chronic inflammation? Well, stay tuned, because up next, we're talking about fighting back. It's time to fight back against chronic inflammation, and guess what? You have an army at your disposal. We're talking about diet, natural remedies, and supplements. These are your knights in shining armor, your secret weapons in the war against inflammation. First off, let's talk about diet. You've probably heard the phrase, "you are what you eat." Well, when it comes to inflammation, this couldn't be more true. Consuming a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains can help reduce inflammation. Foods like berries, fatty fish, broccoli, avocados, green tea, peppers, mushrooms, and grapes are inflammation's worst nightmare. They're packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that help keep inflammation at bay. On the flip side, try to avoid processed foods, sugary drinks, and fried foods. They're like fuel to the fiery beast of inflammation. Next, let's dive into the world of natural remedies. Ever wondered why your grandma was so insistent on you having that turmeric milk, or why she put so much ginger in your soup when you were sick? These are not just old wives' tales. Turmeric and ginger have potent anti-inflammatory properties. So does garlic, green tea, and even honey. Incorporating these into your daily routine can be a game changer in your fight against inflammation. Finally, supplements. These are like the special forces in your anti-inflammation army. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish oil can reduce inflammation. Curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric, can also be taken as a supplement. Other supplements like vitamin D, magnesium, and probiotics can also help manage inflammation. Remember though, supplements should not replace a healthy diet, but rather complement it. And always consult with a healthcare professional before starting any new supplement regimen. Remember, you have the power to influence your body's inflammation levels. Stay informed, stay proactive. Chronic inflammation might be a complex issue, but it's not an unbeatable enemy. Remember, it's an ongoing process in your body that can be triggered by various factors. Learning to recognize the symptoms is the first step towards detection, followed by testing. And once identified, you can fight back with a balanced diet, natural remedies, and supplements. The key here is to be proactive and persistent. Knowledge is power, and you're now more powerful than ever. Let's keep fighting the good fight against chronic inflammation.